papers. I think we will start with the Guardian newspaper. Guardian newspaper today, on the very headline. We're going to be joined pretty soon by somebody who will be analyzing this for us. But let's just look at the Guardian newspaper at the very first headline. Trump's presidency, U.S. aid suspension may cost Nigeria $1 billion in health funding orders yearly. But we will not just be doing this alone, Bukola. So we have an analyst that will be joining us on the program to break all of this down on the program. Mr. Adeniyi Fedayo, media analyst and public affairs analyst, of course, will be joining us any moment from now.
Good morning.
All right, so that's the headline. So any moment from now, Mr. Fedayo will be joining us. So, Bukola, so that's the headline.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, the papers are saying quite a lot this morning. And to be interesting, you know, to process the subjects and, you know, reflect on what will be the implications of the headlines in the coming days.
So we finally have Mr. Fedayo Adeniyi joining us. Mr. Fedayo, thank you so much for coming on the program. For a moment, we thought you were not present, but we're happy you're here.
Yeah, all right, good morning. It's always my pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So let's begin with the headlines from The Guardian. U.S. aid suspension may cost Nigeria $1 billion in health funding orders yearly. You know, the United States president has said, WHO, we're doing this no more. Talk to us about it.
Yes, of course. Nobody should be surprised about some of the policies or initiatives of Mr. President. That's what I mean, Donald Trump. He's a no-nonsense man, and of course, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. If he says that nothing is not coming to you, so everybody should tighten their belt. It's not every time we should be hoping for the handout from whether WHO or from the US government. So it's a high time Nigeria need to look inward and put their house in order, not only Nigeria and another nation who mostly run to WHO for handout or for support. That's why sometimes they have a kind of bearing over Nigeria and over some policies that we want to do. So I'm sure with this one now, they should put their house in order, look inward, and see how to live without WHO, how to live without a handout from the United States government.
All right, so I know that there's a lot of conversation to that effect. One of the things we saw is the fact that it's not happy that China, with over $1 billion, 1.3 or 1.4 billion, is contributing way less than the United States, that is about 300 million people. And he's saying, how can China be contributing little when they have more population with all the money they have, I guess? And China is still considered a developing country. But let's move on to business day. Tinubu wants to drill Ogoni oil, but clean up drags. Mr. Fedayo.
Yes, I think cleanup is something that we've been, you know, crying for all this while. There's nothing you want to do in Ogoni if cleanup is not, you know, be the first on your priority list. But I told Mr. President I had meeting with the Ogoni leaders the other time, just about a week ago or thereabout. So the cleanup is not just for you to, you must walk the talk. You know, we've been saying so much about it. I was watching, it's also on your program, when one analyst said that if you are waiting for foreign companies to come and clean up, at least if indigenous companies, they have been doing a fantastic job when it comes to pipeline surveillance. I think they should look inward, and there's so much technology. Just give them a trial and let them start this cleanup. There's so much talk about it. Let's do it, and once and for all, and we can move on. After all, it's part of Nigeria. So, and so much has been coming from there with what they have suffered so much. Environmental pollution, you know, the aquatic problem issue and all of that. So I think they deserve it, not just for us to talk about it, it's for us to put action to it.
All right, Mr. Fedayo, let's head out to Daily Independence now. And Daily Independence...
Ifetayo.
Mr. Ifetayo.
Yes,
oh, pardon me. So Daily Independent has an interesting caption as its headline, and it's about the opposition party's continuing crisis. it seems as if the PDP may not recover anytime soon. Again, PDP crisis escalates as NWC members crash. And it's just, about 2 years to the 2027 general election. And some would say that plans for the next election start the very first day after the previous elections have been won. But look at the PDP, see where it is currently. How do you project that this crisis will pan out in the coming days?
I think they need to be decisive. You can't be working in Party A and be receiving your salary in Party B. If you are for us, you are for us. If you are not for us, you are not for us. And one thing about leadership is sometimes to make self-sacrifice. It's not just all about you or the winner takes all. And if they are not going to shift ground, they might continue like this and they might not make a meaningful impact in 2027 general election. But I think they still have a little window opportunity to come together. If some people, how can you say that somebody is working in Bank A and is meddling with Banking B? If somebody is for you, you should retain it. They should make a decisive decision. If you are not for us, such individual or party leader is either expelled or sanctioned or removed, and they should do that and move on. But if they are not doing that, they don't want to shift ground, they'll continue to this in-house wrangling. I'm the one in charge, nobody can remove me. It's as if they are toothless dogs. So if they want to bite and bite, you should do that now, because you have so much to put together in 2010 if they want to make any meaningful impact. And if they should look inward too, if they want to merge, why not? So that they can pull out a strong outing in 2027.
It's quite interesting because the PDP has not been able to have its neck. Keep postponing, sometimes on very funny excuses. And I've challenged Olobodin to say, we don't see it coming anytime soon. But this has to do with what's going on in the Southeast, where I think the vice chairman in that area was suspended. Ayan, his position is being contested with Okoye, summoned the meeting. It's just a mix of many things. But if you want to know more about that page, about that, you can go to the Daily Independent. But another story on the Daily Independent that I want you to speak to is Nigerians will soon reap benefit of current hardship. That's according to the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. I wanted you to comment on that because Nigerians have been hearing this over and over and over again.
Yeah, I believe, of course, there's an adage in Yoruba, that whose fly is it going to, ours fly, who will he support unless somebody who has a boil or something injury on his or her leg. So what do you expect Mr. Vice President to say? They've been saying this over and over again. I think even there's a gestation period for any policy between a year and 6 months to a year, but I've not seen any meaningful development. And of course, I just hope that they will be able to pull out something in the next 2 years, because I'm sure by next year now they'll be talking about general election for 2027 or thereabout. So I don't see anything in that statement. Of course, he can't speak against his principal or the government that he belongs. It's common place for Nigerian politicians. So he's just saying the obvious, that Nigeria will soon reap the benefit of current hardship. But you and I remember just last week, and I can't believe that, or 2 weeks ago, it's not up to 2 weeks ago, NCC approved 50% increment in tariff of telecommunication. Come on, you can't just rub all those things on our face and telling us that Nigeria will soon reap the benefit of, like they say, what they are doing is different from Balablu. It's not what we pray for. It's like what I order for versus against what I got. I just hope they make a meaningful impact.
All right, that's the expectation. So there are quite a number of other stories on the front page of Daily Independent, but they're also covered in the next paper, and that's This Nigeria. But the lead story on the front page of This Nigeria is about the minimum wage. Civil servants worried over selective implementation as Imo, Sokoto, Akwa Ibom, FCT workers to commence payment in January. While I'm sure that if we looked into the story, there's a lot that will be discovered if it's talking about selective implementation. Remember the back and forth last year over consequential adjustments and its implications and the ability of the subnationals to be able to implement it. But do you think that Labour did its job thoroughly? I'm talking about Labour specifically now at the state union chapters before they made the agreements with the subnationals on the varying sums that they agreed upon.
No, I don't think so. In as much as the Nigerian Labour Congress, regardless of the state they operate from, they've not been really, to me, I'm sorry to say, somehow somebody was asking, I think they have lost their onion. They have, they have not been able to hold their grants. I also believe that they should have, and some of our governments too, they are not helping matter. They are not being transparent with what comes in, internally generated revenue, their overhead costs and all of that. You should know if this state can afford to pay a particular fee, 80,000, 70,000, as stipulated, and you can engage your member as well. And just like I said, that the cost you pay for a 2-bedroom flat in Lagos might be way higher than what is obtainable in Kaduna or in Maiduguri, for example. So somebody who is earning 200,000 naira in Lagos will be far different from someone who is earning even 200,000 naira in Sokoto. So those are the things they should put into it, and before they could agree, the governor, the executive governor, bring out your books. Let's see what comes in. Yes, you have a project to do. You have what you have a budget for the year. Let's see what you are talking about. But they've not been able to do that. If they can agree for us to have band A, band B, band C, I don't see any point for state government when it comes to minimum wage, to look into that and so that they can arrive at a logical conclusion. So many states have lost even interest in the Nigerian Labour Congress. But what do? We still wait for them to do the little they can do. Like they say, a drop of water makes mighty ocean. So let's see whether something good can still come out of Nazareth, as they say.
Well, we hope that Labour does not fall into a slumber again in the course of the year. We must thank you very much, Mr. Adeniyi Ifetayo, for your time on this paper review segment. Of course, we look forward to having you again.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll get to the very first conversation for the day. Join us again.